What's up? Welcome to another video. In today's episode, we're going to be working on the 40, my 1940 Chevy that's powered by a 12-valve Cummins. Not going to be a very exciting video, but it is exciting because it's probably the last video I'm going to put out before I pull this thing out of the garage and unveil it for the first time, so that's exciting. So I guess I'm just going to run through a punch list of all the things that I want to get done before I can pull this thing outside. And let's start with the headliner. I've been talking about redoing the headliner, and I say a headliner, it's more than just a headliner. This panel here goes behind the seats, behind your head, and around the back window, and it's metal and was originally painted, and I don't want to have a giant piece of metal around my head because the acoustics to me sound like it's just going to be like having your head in a soup can the entire time you're driving around. So I want to upholster this piece, but before I can do that I need to clean it up a bit. It's got some dings and some holes and it's just pretty rough. So I'm going to get that cleaned up and then we can install it. Once we install it, it goes right here, but it only comes to about here. And so then we got to make a fabric headliner, the actual headliner part, that's going to connect the front of the header to the back of this panel, whatever that's called. So let's get started on that. Okay, this is the dome light I'm going to be using. I just want to drill a couple of holes up here so that I can mount this and run the wires through it. Get the holes drilled before I upholster this with some vinyl. Alright, full disclaimer, I am not an interior guy, so I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm going to do this the same way I did the other interior panels. I'm going to spread this vinyl on there. I'm going to start by tacking this bottom part with just a 3M spray adhesive, but then I've got some stronger adhesive that I'm going to use up in these corners because I'm afraid those are going to pull off of there, but I'm going to try and stretch this over this and see what happens. Put it on thick. Alright, this is what I'm going to be using for the rest of it. It's some 3M 1357, I don't know what it is, but it says high performance, so I'm going to have a high performance interior now. If adhesion's based off of price, this stuff should be pretty strong. Anyway, spread this on, see what happens. I can tell this stuff's going to work good because I'm high as a kite right now. I'm just going to fold this over a little bit at a time because I don't want to try and do the entire thing all at once, because I'll definitely mess it up doing that, but just work it a little bit at a time until I get the whole thing covered. Alright, I'm slowly getting there. I got the corners pretty much worked in, and I'm using a sponge and a clamp and a piece of wood to help apply pressure to hold this until it's dry. I think it'll be okay, but we just gotta glue the rest of this down. It should be all set. Okay, clamps engaged. I'm gonna let this sit until the morning and see what it looks like. All right, it's the next day. I took the clamps off. It looks pretty good. There's a little bit of wrinkles like up in the corners here, but there's a piece of trim that goes on all the way around this, and it's gonna cover up 99% of that, so I think it looks good enough for me. Anyway, next I'm gonna install this dome light, and then I can put this panel inside. Oh! Okay, that panel's held in place by the trim ring that goes around the window, so I need to install the glass, but before I install the glass, I want to tint it. So I'm gonna tint the glass real quick, then we can put it in. This is some 5% tint, should be pretty dark. Okay, to separate the two layers of the tint and the protective film, I usually take two pieces of tape, stick them on either side of it, and peel them apart. This is just soap and water. Okay, got that all cut and tinted. A little disappointing though, because it said 5% when I ordered this stuff, but when I hold that up, it doesn't look like 5% to me. It looks more like 20%. It's not as dark as I wanted it to be, but it's not a deal breaker, so I guess it's time to put this in. All right, there's the window part bolted in. Next step is the seat belts. Those are gonna go right here. All right, I got the seat belts installed halfway. There's the bolt in the top I put in, but the bottom I can't bolt in until I bolt the seats in place. These are just some universal seat belts from Summit. Work just like a normal car seat belt. But before I can bolt the seats in place, I wanna make a panel that's gonna cover up this middle section here. So I guess let's do that. Alright, my brake is only 40 inches long, and this piece I'm trying to make is 48 inches long, so I'm making 2 of them, and I'm going to weld them together in the center. But I got to clamp them together first, then weld them up. Alright, here's what I came up with for that. Now I just got to put some vinyl on it so it matches the rest of the interior. Alright, got that piece all upholstered. Now it's time to put it in the truck. Okay, got that all installed. I'm not super thrilled about the way it looks in the corners over here and over here, but that's 100% covered up by the seats, so I'm not really worried about it. The only part you're going to see is in between the 2 seats here above the center console, and that part looks fine. Okay, I got both the seats installed. They look pretty good. The driver's side was a complete pain in the butt, but got it in there. Now I can finally move on to the actual headliner, which is the whole purpose of this entire video. I'm going to make the part that goes from here to here. So I'm going to sew up some vinyl, and it's going to be a section for here, a section for here, and a section for here. Okay, I got all these pieces cut. I made some marks where I'm going to sew a line, and after I get them sewn together, I'm going to come back and stitch another line close to this one so that it'll make a little tunnel for the rod to slide through. Alright, here's what it looks like from the back side. These are little slots that the rods are going to slide through, which are going to hold the headliner up into the ceiling. Here's what it looks like from the underside. Now it's time to try and get this in the truck. Okay, the front's held up by this piece of trim. I've already put it up there once and then cut the vinyl, so now I'm ready to put it up for the final time. Okay, I got it all installed. Here's what it looks like now that it's done. Like I said before, I am not an interior person, so this is the best that I could do, but I think it looks okay. Dome light. Okay, next on the list, I need to screw down the decking on the flatbed because I never did that before. Alright, just tinted the front windows and installed the hood, the windshield installed. If you're keeping track, that means this truck is basically done. So there's only one thing left to do, and that's pull it outside so you guys can get a good look at it.